Hello and welcome back to Everybody Loves Raiken, our 5th edition live play that meets on Tuesday nights. The last time we met, the party had finally had their long-awaited discussion with the hopeful allies in this fight against the ancient dragons, the children of Tiamat. They met with, under some duress, the army of the Empire of the Four Queens and the three generals that lead it, and explained their position and why they were the ones leading this army in place of Tatsuya, the man who had, in essence, recruited this army to his cause. And this went reasonably well overall, because the party had a lot of well-prepared arguments, and Yukikaze specifically has spent a good deal of time this campaign improving his leadership skills to be a good general. So this all paid off, and it paid off in spades because the party also brought with them several allies who they had already won over who would speak on their behalf. So the combined effort of the party's preparation for this discussion, Yukikaze's training, and the allies who had many good things to say about them, does seem to have succeeded at winning over the army of the Four Queens here. The army did, however, go to fact-check them before letting them go. They utilized their Cleric of Ione to cast at least one commune, and ask several questions that needed to be verified, which came up during their discussion with the party, and came back to say, all of our questions were answered in the affirmative, indicating what you told us was true, except for one thing, which was that you intended to... You've told us you intend to put all of Tiamat's children back into their, cursed slumber, or whatever it was, before they rose. And that was deemed to be false, which forced the party's hand in explaining that they had been coerced into a deal indirectly with Elsamenth, the ancient blue dragon, via one of his descendants, Azurai. Once this information was out, there was a little bit more discussion, but ultimately the generals of the army seemed to accept it and allow the party to leave, which they did post-haste as Jebel cast transit via plants to return them to Stormreef Isle. Somewhat unexpectedly, one of the soldiers in the army broke rank and followed them through the portal, saying that he intended to ensure that everything was on the up and up by seeing the army firsthand, which the party sort of shrugged at and said, okay, you get to train too, and sent him to join their army. Finally, Vendar was paid a visit by another soldier, who seemed to have mutual knowledge of their mutual benefactor, or at least of Vendar's benefactor, and came to collect the grenades, half of them, which he had created using the smole, and to deliver to him a new ingredient, which he could experiment and hopefully create something interesting with, which he called Willweed. So, the party had returned to the World Over Inn, and I have you all at the table here. There we go. What did I do? Oh. Okay. So I believe the rest of you were taking a meal and preparing for a long rest as, yes. Possibly. I suppose that is up to you. I'm recalling that you had left later in the morning, which became early morning with the army, and then you spent An hour? Yes, an hour because of the force cage, and then came back pretty much right away. So actually, it's like lunch. So you guys and squeezing every minute out of every day, huh?
Time answers to us for now.
For now.
Yeah.
So, Cyrus, you were only aware of what was going on through what was told to you over the bond, since you had remained here with the army as an emergency escape plan. So, you probably had questions. I think that we'll just start there, since I don't recall exactly what had been the topic of discussion when we ended last time.
The topic of discussion last time was my potential fish problems.
Your potential. That's right. That's why it's called devilfish. Okay, thank you. Of course, that's why. Told you, I'm a little tired.
No worries.
So you were in the midst of hammering out the details of your plan to pull one over on an ancient aboleth. An aboleth as ancient as the gods, more ancient than the dragons you're dealing with.
So I recall the last thing we came to was that we need to figure out information. So
Right,
I'm
there have
hoping.
been...
What?
Go ahead.
So I'm hoping that we can maybe do a commune or something. See if it's going to be something we need to deal with before the dragons or not. Like, we had a short period that we looked at, but I'm curious if it's something we need to deal with even before dragons, or if we just figure out it's not and move on.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you had looked at the next couple days specifically to make sure that you could do the things you needed to prepare for the dragons without having to do
The making sure that we could cast Wish for the simulacrum so that it could send, so that we could shorten communication times and get the army stuff done. I don't think that Laramendas has used Commune today.
No.
So that's certainly something that we can do.
If you did, I don't remember it. It's very early in the morning, so I'd be surprised. Or it was morning when we started doing army stuff, so I would be surprised.
I think morning was wake up, send,
get
confirming
teleported
with everyone that everything was good to go. Conversation.
I think so too. We're gonna say you can cast at least one commune.
I, the player, vaguely remember discussing possibly reaching out to Evandal about the plane of water. If we had needed to try and figure out information about where or how we might be able to huck Cyrus at a point in the plane of water.
Usually when we do communes, they get written out in the Snark channel, so we should be able to check if there were communes that match up with the date of the last time we met. It was 3 weeks ago? I think we missed 2 sessions.
I wouldn't have been involved in... If it was in the last session, I wouldn't have been involved because I was doing work stuff.
Right.
I'm pretty sure we didn't actually commune. We were talking about it, and then
Yeah, because it was like right at the end of the session.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Then I am more confident in... I had already been reasonably confident, but now I'm much more confident in saying that, yeah, you should still have your communes for today. We'll go with, because you guys have been talking, after coming back, it's, I don't know, let's call it 3 in the afternoon. That's more than generous with the hours of your day, for how much you accomplish.
I have written down. So I just searched for commune in the chat.
Yeah.
And from the second, there was Laramundus' second attempt, which was, is the Aboleth with a vendetta against Cyrus planning to be in physical contact with Cyrus in the next 17 days? No. So we had the 48 hours first, but I guess we communed twice. I don't know if one of them was the simulacrum and one of them was me, or if it was just a successful
Did
second.
you say the date was? What was the date on that commune?
That was sorry. That was July 2nd.
Okay. Because I'm looking at this, I'm like, September 2nd was a Monday.
Yeah, no, July 2nd, we had that
Okay.
commune. So
Yeah. So 3 weeks ago was
it at least
the
didn't
third.
have. It wasn't planning on being in physical contact with you for 17 days, which puts us post dragon fight.
So you already know that part then.
Whether there are other plans that you want to try and use, that we want to try and use communes to figure out a bit more information, or if we want a longer window to try and to give Cyrus some confidence that we're not going to, seal the dragons and do a victory lap and an aboleth is going to fall on him. Which would be fucking hilarious. Out of character.
I don't know. I think if we can just cover that, it's not, as long as we're confident it's not something to deal with before the dragons. I think I'm happy with that.
We did specify physical contact, which, has its own
It doesn't need
caveats. So there could be other things that it could do
Okay,
at
we
you.
could say, we can ask a new question of cause us problems. It's generic, but it will cover all the bases.
I'm not opposed to that. Are there other questions that we want answers to or additional clarifications around that first one? Could the answers be yes or no?
No, we can ask about Elsamith. Is he aware of the deal that we made with Azurai? Is he actually planning on contacting us?
Those are good questions.
So, draft question 1, is the Aboleth with a vendetta against Cyrus planning to take action against Cyrus in the next 17 days? I said 17 days just because that's what the other question was. I don't know if... I suppose
18 days.
to be... it would be... That is giving us an extra day, I think.
Then it won't happen during the victory lap, at least.
It'll happen in the after party.
That night and wakes up in the Avalith's stomach.
How much did I drink?
Sees a sturgeon swimming by.
Spiky butts. Terrible fish design.
Okay. I wrote down 2 things for 2, just as, potential ideas, both trying to get at the same thing. Being, has Azurai informed Elsamith about our desire for a meeting, or has Azurai taken action towards fulfilling his end of the deal we made with him about a meeting with Elsamith? And then 3, the best use of a final commune question, what is the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow?
Oh my god.
I mean, to be fair, the answer's unclear. Do you mean an African or European swallow?
I mean, if we're in that much of a third question, we could ask if Elsamith is currently planning to betray the deal.
Is Elsamith planning to betray which deal? We don't have a deal with Elsamith.
Well, then the other names are hard.
I fail to see what Azurai would gain by by betraying the deal, delaying it. Sure, but fucking us over just means that we would want to go fuck him over.
Yeah, like he might do
and
something.
that's not what he
fuck
wants right
Elsamith
now.
over.
I just, I feel like having a little reassurance wouldn't hurt.
Checking up on your dirty dealings.
Maybe he took the skill so that he can have some measure of control over Elsamith. You know, if Elsamith does something he doesn't like, and he can send us after him to seal him away.
Could be. Remind you that the party has at least been told that the children of Tiamat can't touch their scales, which is one of the reasons that Azurai had these. Because the other dragons are not precluded from touching the scales. And he is holding on to Elsameth's scale, which prevents you from sealing Elsameth until he gives it to you.
So is this question 3 in line with what you're looking for, Derek? Does Azurai intend to renege on his end of the deal to arrange a meeting between us and Elsameth?
Not really, because I think the second question kind of covers that, but like,
Okay, so what?
I was just trying to put out something that would be more useful, so it still works for me.
What were you trying to get at then?
It's just, well, I guess I was just trying to see if it was something that he would like try and turn on us over, but I don't know. I was just trying to have there be something other than a swallow-related question.
Oh, that was a placeholder?
Okay.
Because it was funny? I was just like, they keep asking me this question. I don't understand why.
It is a paradox.
What is your favorite color?
Green, no yellow. Blue.
Anywho. So, happy with question 1?
Double checking.
Looks good to me.
Looks good to me.
Cool. Question 2. There are 2 questions currently on question 2. Do people have a preference for one of those questions? Do they have thoughts on phrasings for things being different about them?
I mean, I don't know, the second question seems kind of general. Like, even a yes, we don't know exactly what that means when it says taken action.
My thinking for either one of those ones is basically getting us into a situation where we can be a little bit more informed when we ask Azurai about this meeting.
Yes, I prefer the first question of the second one rather than the second one, just because, as I was saying, it's kind of general, so you don't know how to go about that. Like, what yes for taking action? Well, if a yes or a no for the first one means we know for sure whether he has informed Elizabeth or not yet.
It seems reasonable to me. Anyone else have any thoughts?
Yes.
Not a 1.
And empty. No thoughts. Just so that I'm clear, you are joining this discussion over the telepathic bond while you continue your experimentation, Vendar?
Yeah.
Okay. That is within your power, and I'm happy to accommodate it.
I'm busy with other me.
Yeah, he's playing with himself.
Accurate.
The best playmate.
Do people feel like question 3 is, as currently stated, is what we want to ask? I agree that it does kind of overlap a fair amount with question 2.
I guess it depends on the answer to question 2. If he hasn't informed him yet, then I think that's a good question for you.
Oh, yeah. Just to find out if it's a thing that he has yet to do or a thing that he's not going to do.
Mm-hmm. If he has, I think question 3 should be, is Elsamith planning on doing the deal? Or having the meeting? It's just because Azurai told him the deal doesn't mean Elsamith's going to follow through.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that could be... So if 2 is yes that, we would ask that question on 3, and if it's no, then we would ask the original question.
So right now, I have for 3 if 2 is a yes, which means Azurai has informed Elsaminth already. That does Elsaminth intend to have a meeting with us in the next 16 days? I don't remember number of days exactly. That one's the placeholder. I as the player don't remember because it's been so long since we've had those discussions. And then question 3, if 2 is a no, which means Azurai has not yet informed Elsaminth about the meeting. Does Azurai intend to renege on his end of the deal to arrange a meeting between us and Elsaminth? Do people like these questions?
Sounds good to me.
I like them.
Cool. I see no reason to wait on doing that, so I think Larmendus will go to cast Commune.
Okay. You cast Commune. You are casting this as a ritual or using a spell slot? Just for... So I know
ritual.
how much... Okay. So 11 minutes elapsed.
And back in the mansion.
Okay, so... we head to the mansion. I'll probably just move... Are you gonna take, like... your friends, here with you? I guess specifically we've got Seltharis and Kubriel.
I mean, anyone who wants... Larmendus is going to say that he's going to go and cast Commune to get the answers that we wanted. Anyone who wants to join is welcome to join.
I'm debating on whether So I think I was still out with Clever Gil.
Okay.
During this time, if I'm not mistaken.
And yeah, it's certainly not... there's no problem with that. Alright, so, in any event, the rest of you gather here. Just because Gabrielle is got her agreement with Raiken, so she's going where he's going. And Seltharis loves watching you mortals do your magic stuff. Alright, you come up here and cast your Commune. 11 minutes elapse. You may ask your questions.
Okay. Is the Aboleth with a vendetta against Cyrus planning to take action against Cyrus in the next 17 days?
There is a rumble through your bowl of water, and Ash says, almost cheerfully, no.
Excellent. Has Azurai informed Elsaminth about our desire for a meeting?
Yes. I had to think about that. I'm like, how would this order of events have gone?
Does Elsaminth intend to have a meeting with us in the next 16 days? Larmendus picks whatever number of days would be to like before
the battle.
Go, but
okay, so shorthand, whatever that number is, it is up to before the battle.
Yeah.
No.
Huh. Sounds like that could be an issue.
I think 1 tilde on... Nope, it's not 1 tilde. Is it 2 tildes?
Or strike through? It's 2 tilde at either
through.
end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think in Slack it's 1.
Could be. It's always been 2 in this, and I think this uses markup. Markdown? Whatever the fuck it's called.
Well, good news about the Aboleth.
Indeed. Let's watch the other part, though.
I think at that, Seltharis is going to laugh from, the other side of the room where she's been hearing things happen. Says, that is entirely unsurprising. Did you think he would have this meeting with you ahead of betraying his own siblings? And tip his hand to them?
A bit more assurance would certainly be more comfortable.
Well,
We
a
can do
bit
another
more
community.
assurance and comfort. Not exactly phrases that I have ever associated with the chromatic dragons. Least of all, the children of Tiamat.
I guess it would be a little difficult as well to leave the others to have a secret meeting somehow.
I'm certain that all of them are having secret meetings.
Take solace in the fact that I actually think that Raiken is right about this, though. And I probably know these dragons better than any other living creature in this particular world.
What's Raiken right about?
About getting away from the rest of the kin to have a secret meeting.
No, we could try another community and ask if he intends to betray his siblings in the fight.
That does seem more specifically what we were trying to get at. Do we have additional questions to throw into the ring?
I do not.
Dash of Azrai is loyal to Elsaman.
Will this crick in my neck ever go away? I've been feeling it for the last 200 years. Comes and goes.
Considered seeing a healer.
She's going to blink golden eyes at you. Say, I never would have thought of that, Cyrus. Thank you. You've probably saved my entire life.
No, that seems to be more their business.
She grins and, like, very oddly, and, like, it'd be entirely reasonable in her full draconic form, but it's very unsettling in her tiefling form. Like, smoke begins to, like, creep between her teeth and rise up.
But also, didn't you make that form? Wouldn't you have had to, like, make the ink yourself?
I don't want to talk about it. I was simply going to blame it on the activities of recent evenings.
Cyrus looks at the two of them. Like, I start back and forth. Says nothing. And looks away.
She says this with, like, no conviction, does not, like, make any, like, eye contact other than with you. Like, just does not look toward Raiken.
Like, also just staring at Cyrus. no amusement in his face.
All the mirth gone from him as he's reminded of this.
Lorelei is also staring at you too.
Some murderous intent fills the room.
Half the party just staring at you.
Remendis is not looking up from his notebook as he's writing things down. He says, so, proposal for question 1. Does Elsaman intend to betray his siblings when our army makes its move to seal the other dragons? And then, a potential third question, will that crick in Seltharis' neck ever go away?
You look down on your books too often.
I think... What's your insight?
Let's see, passive insight. That will be. Is that with or without proficiency? That is without.
That's with proficiency.
So if you have proficiency, it includes it.
Okay, so it's just 10 plus the number then.
It's 10 plus the skill, yeah.
Yeah, so 18.
Okay, yeah. Larman, is very pointedly. Not like looking up from his book and saying this thing now to try and move beyond what was just said.
Do not want to discuss this at all.
Did people like question 1? Anything else to fill gaps?
over
Any
her.
questions for one yes, no? Sorry, I interrupted you.
You're fine. I was gonna make a joke. Well, it was in character, but it was still gonna be a joke.
I mean, seems like a good yes or no question to me.
While the tension in the room could be cut with a dirk, you're going to notice, Leah, that over your own little personal telepathic bond with Lorelei, you're hearing round two, round two, round two.
Please don't.
Lorelei goes invisible and makes like an R with her hands, and then holds up a 2, R2, while saying it.
I have heard mortals say that it is even better the second time.
Oh, God.
Or maybe that was Neptune.
They say you get to do the weird stuff.
I knew someone would make the connection.
But yeah, so do people have thoughts about a different questions to ask depending on yes or no from question 1?
Still think we could ask if Azurai is loyal to Elsamint.
We could also ask if Azurai, or not Azurai, Elsamith intends to contact us after the battle, so that we know if there's intent at all.
Intents can change, though. Like, you might not have that intent now, but something could happen that will give him the intent later.
I think asking that question, we can add in as, part of the question that the other siblings are sealed. Because I think that the status of Elsamith's siblings is the most likely to impact negatively Elsamith's intent to meet with us. In that if we fail, there's not a good reason to meet with us.
I mean, if we fail, we'd be dead.
Not necessarily.
Yeah, you'll execute Escape Plan Delta again.
I have my own escape plan.
This one would be Escape Plan Epsilon.
Delta is nowhere near a far enough distance.
Gotta change planes.
Yeah, if the world really goes to shit, I'm just gonna escape to Sintarmo.
Guess I live in the Feywild now. Imperial plane's fucked.
It's like my warlock is here. We get to be together.
My warlock is here. Wait, my warlock is here.
What are you doing here?
Yeah, well, the world burned.
I won.
That sounds like not upholding our pact.
That's a good point.
I know that there was something in here, like going through a legal document about protecting living things and nature and the world. Oh yeah, no, it's right here. It's like in bold print. It's like line 1.
It just says, "I, the undersigned, swear to protect living nature." It's
We've got a problem. Alright, so... Where did 2 go?
There was never a 2.
Oh.
2 is a lie.
I was like, clearly I have given them more, I've vamped long enough. They should have a list of questions
I was
here.
still typing.
Oh, okay.
Now there was 2. And 3.
I will miss
Which doesn't mean getting rid of
about
the
the
crick in the
unmaiden
neck
swallow.
question.
Aww.
Look, if one of our questions becomes no longer applicable,
I'm uncertain that loyal to Elsamith is particularly helpful in the realm of Azurai's intents. since I would imagine that the actual useful information is currently aligned with more than actually loyal. I don't know how far we could trust.
About would he be
Azurai's
willing
loyalty
to
towards
betray Elsamond?
I mean, I
Like,
can
if
answer that for
Elsamond-
you. Yes.
Do we have a situation that would constrain that enough to give us?
Well, if Elsamond isn't going to betray his siblings, then, I mean, that's an issue. We need to steal him too. In which case, we'll need to convince Azurai to give us scale, which would be betraying Elsamond.
I don't think there'd be any convincing of that. It would more likely to be seized.
So this second question is more intended to get at if Elsamond is not intending to betray his siblings during the fight. Can we peacefully acquire Elsamond's scale from Azurai to seal Elsamond? Is more what we're trying to get at.
Yeah, that works for me.
The discussion of all this just reminded me of a scene from Star Wars.
Which one?
Where Lando tells, like I said to Darth Vader, that we had a deal. Darth Vader is like, the deal changed.
I am altering the deal. Pray I do not alter it further.
Yes, that. I imagine like that happens if we find out that our dragon friends betrays us.
We had a deal, Azurai. I decided to alter the deal. What you gonna do about it?
Fireball.
Ow! I'm lightning. That kind of hurt.
Bigger fireball.
I don't have fireball.
I have the biggest fireball.
Your meteor swarm?
TNT.
Yes.
My fireball is bigger than yours.
I think Vendar beats you actually with biggest fireball.
You know, you're not wrong.
I mean, at Vendar's rate of inventing weapons, he might come up with a nuclear bomb before the end.
I hope not.
He's just gonna nuke the dragons.
Tomorrow
Made up
I'll invent the
flare.
cruise missile.
What magic is this? The devil's just like, my favorite kind of magic. Mine. Mine.
Progress.
Vendar's just playing a D&D version of Civilization.
Yeah.
I'm way ahead.
Hell shakes.
Going for the scientific victory.
Hell shakes, and one of the overlords said, "The hell was that? What was that sound?" And Vendar's all just like, "The sound of progress, my friend."
But it's one of the other layers of hell that, like, somebody's like, the explosion happens in, one level. It's a different one that somebody's like, what the fuck was that?
That level doesn't exist anymore.
And that's just how we got 6 levels.
The 6 hells of Beator. The 9 hells? Not anymore.
We were aiming for 8, but we kind of overshot. So now this is where we are.
It was the good kind of unexpected results.
So 2 currently is now if 1 is no. 1 no meaning Elsamond does not intend to betray his siblings. So 2 in that case, will we be able to obtain the scale of Elsamond from Azurai peacefully if we explain what we know of Elsamond's plans?
If it's yes, we ask about the neck thing.
The crick in the neck?
Yep.
She really wants to know.
Or she really wants you to know. I don't know.
And then 3, if Elsamonth's siblings are successfully sealed, does Elsamonth intend to have a meeting with us? Do people like these questions? Do they get the information that we're wanting?
Fine with me.
Alright. We roll the D% dice. My job?
I think technically, because I'm not supposed to know, even though it's very obvious when it fails, so there's no reason to be like, this should be rolled in secret. Which is bizarre.
Oh, God.
Like, something is perfect sense to roll in secret and have, like, a fun little,
Don't remind me, because PF2 has, like, 90 million roll in secret. You just have to keep telling the DM, I need you to roll me a die. DM, I need you to roll me a die. It's like, please. Let the players roll a die. Alright. You gotta beat a 25, huh?
Yep.
47!
Okay. So, Commune round 2, question 1. I guess this takes another, 11 minutes. Or, I guess 10 minutes with the last minute being asking questions.
Yep.
So, 10 minutes elapse while everyone else, does whatever they want to do. Question 1. Does Elsamonth intend to betray his siblings when our army makes its move to seal the other dragons?
Yes.
Okay. Will that prick in Seltharis' neck ever go away?
No.
I think with that, I give Seltharis a very sad look. That sucks.
Seltharis kind of, she looks at you, you see her, like, crane her head to one side like she's pushing against that crick, and she shrugs her shoulders, like, kind of like she already knew.
If Elsamonth's siblings are successfully sealed, does Elsamonth intend to have a meeting with us?
Yes.
Okay. Right, we should properly strike through. So that way it's easier to tell, and because it's amusing to retain the unused questions.
All right.
Also, Leah is visibly confused at what. I just said her name. The dragon.
Oh, Seltharis?
Siltharis, thank you. She's visibly confused about what Siltharis has to do with a crick in the neck.
Okay. No, that's reasonable. When you're visibly confused, are you visibly confused in Seltharis' general direction?
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright, so upon the completion of the questions and seeing, like, Leah's concerned face, like, very confused face, she's going to, raise a tiefling hand to her tiefling neck and rub it and just say, I was injured a long time ago. And the wound is probably cursed or some such thing, because of who I received it from. It will never mend fully. It is not a problem. But,
not even after being resurrected, damn.
Well, there are some things about the body and the soul that are inexorably tied. Luckily, these types of things are usually beyond mortals' ability to survive anyway, so you all rarely need to worry of such. But my kind, it is not debilitating. But we can leave a mark on one another's lives. And you can see that her eyes get a little distant as she says that, and you imagine that she's probably remembering receiving the wound she was talking about. After a moment, she'll kind of shake out of the reverie and say, very matter-of-factly, very simply, she says, I shall be very pleased to return my cousins to their long slumber. I am certain you will all make me proud, as humanoids ever have.
No pressure at all.
Well, it is only the fate of your world that hangs in the balance. But you have a great many allies at this point in your journey, at this point in your fight. So I, as a concerned ancient power, watcher of this world, one who has a vested interest in the success of your endeavor, I can tell you that I have confidence in your ability to surmount this challenge, to meet it head-on, or from whatever distance it is that these dragons will attempt to engage you. And you will be ultimately victorious. I do not kid myself, and so you should not kid yourselves about the cost of victory. But I am confident, very confident, that you will be victorious. So don't prove me wrong, eh? I've got a lot of money riding on this.
I'm gonna pretend I didn't hear that last part. We'll do our best.
I will.
He's betting against us.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Lerman is wondering what bookie made the bet against the world, like the world ending, and, you know, what they think they know.
But always bet you'll live, because if you're wrong, you don't have to pay anyway.
Maybe it's a bet with Cyrus's friend.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. The one we don't say the name of.
I do think that at that, Seltharis would cross the room to approach Leah, to say, I do truly offer these words as encouragement, and I mean every one of them, I believe. So I hope you will take heart rather than worrying over much.
So not to worry when the entire world that is at stake.
Well, perhaps it will ease your nerves to know that should you fail, it's not like anyone can be mad at you about it.
That's really reassuring.
I do apologize. Perhaps my levity is unappreciated. I think once someone has experienced 37 such world-ending events, you get a bit accustomed to them.
Laramendo smirked when she had said the.
No one will be mad at you.
Gonna be mad at you.
Raiken chuckled.
I think that having failed to reassure her, she's going to try one more tack, and she's going to, go down to Juanilla. She's rather tall in her tiefling form, putting herself more, or perhaps less, on Leah's height, as she's gotten quite tall over the last couple months of campaign. and say, well, how about a hug for good luck? Would that help?
That I can do.
Alright. She will pull you into a warm tiefling embrace. She's very soft. And you can feel that she is really trying to be very assuring. Like, and I don't mean unsuccessfully, I mean genuine.
Yeah, relax a little bit.
She'll release you.
Stiltaris would immediately notice that Leah was very tense.
She's, I think that, she'll release you. She does not say anything about the tension, but I think she would, I think she probably would, just like as anyone, like, comforts a younger person, would have, brushed her hand over your hair a little just to kind of, like, straighten it after the embrace of it, and you can see that she's, kind of focused on your hair for a moment. She says, "You really do have beautiful hair. This, mark of your patron complements it well. I don't know that I've ever told you that before."
Thanks.
You are...
she's in winter right now. So.
You are very young to have such difficulties placed upon your shoulders. I apologize that my ancient ways led me to be a little crass toward you.
I'm young from my kind. I cannot imagine what I look like from you.
I shall not describe it for fear of harming your feelings further.
That's okay.
But suffice it to say that between you and Laramandis, in my eyes, there is hardly a difference.
That's also a little scary.
Terrifying, I would
He's
think.
ancient. She said, like, with her hand covering one side of her mouth.
Yeah. I think that she's gonna put kind of like a mock upset like smirk on her face. She's gonna say, "You are lucky that such a word is not an insult to my kind. I am ancient, and it is a mark of pride for me. But be a cart," she says, and, sweeping a hand to indicate that she's referring to everyone at this point who's in front of her. "That you will probably only suffer one such great catastrophe in your lifetimes as this. Seems that perhaps they take a toll on a soul that I had not considered." That said, if anyone needs a hug, I'll offer them.
She changed to autumn.
Is there some emotion that she should be reading off of that change?
I mean, it says peace and goodwill, so in this case, it's the goodwill one that I'm leaning towards.
Gotcha. So if anybody wants to hug Saltharis, they're welcome to. She's apparently giving out free hugs today.
Raiken almost did a lot more.
Don't remind him, he'll get angry at Cyrus.
You suddenly punches Cyrus.
Raiken like for a split second looks longingly at Soltharis when she says 3 hugs, then looks menacing at Cyrus, then longingly back to Soltharis, then menacingly back to Cyrus. He's so confused what he should do.
Like when I watched High School of the Dead.
He goes, he's gonna go and give her a hug anyway, so.
Ah.
Like, I gotta see how this ranks with a good old Papa hug.
You are unarmored?
Yes.
Alright. You get the full effect of this. You know, she has chosen a form that is, you know, kind of like very like high, you would consider it like a humanoid high standard of beauty. You know, she is of decent height, but has chosen a height that is going to leave her you know, an inch or two shorter than most men of the tiefling race, and her, you know, proportions are pleasing, let us simply say. So, you know, she is soft and warm to the touch. She hugs you, you feel like, you know, her grip and the emotion in this is very similar to what she just gave Leah. You know, it's a comforting hug, and there is not more emotion in it than she's being supportive. It feels very, the words just slipped out of my head. Anyway, it's not romantic.
When Raiken pulls away after the hug, he's like, kind of goes like, hide his face a little bit. You're like, that was a pretty good hug. Like, I'm not crying at all. It was all right. It was a good hug.
I think that, like, at that response, she would probably, like, place a hand on your shoulder, you know, comfortingly, and say, "It is always all right to express your emotions, Papa."
Then he's going to turn to Leah. He's like, "Come get a Papa hug!"
Just the tears streaming down his face. Well, no, I want him to spin around. Leah, are you going to reciprocate your father? What's your response to this tearful shouting of "come get a Papa hug"?
Oh, it was aimed at me.
I don't think that he refers to himself as Papa in regard to anybody else in this party, but I suppose I could be wrong.
I mean, it's always Soltharis.
I faded out a bit with the whole
Him getting a hug.
Hugging people situation.
Wow. Don't want to know about Soltharis hugging people.
She would give him a hug, but she would feel a little embarrassed. She would blush a bit.
I still give the best hugs, right?
Right, yes, you do. The hesitation was in character.
Raiken completely does not notice the hesitation. He is just relieved that he was given the green light that he does still give the best hugs.
Yeah, definitely nobody gives better Papa hugs than you.
Oh, okay. I was worried for a second.
Regular hugs.
Damn, that was a good hug.
I can't tell if he's talking about the one with his daughter.
No. He was afraid because the hug with Soltharis was so good. So he was like, oh no, that's gonna be her favorite hug.
That's
not the Papa hug.
Favorite hug. He's just jealous. He's worried he's gonna lose his daughter to the dragon.
Yep.
Usually that involves kidnapping, not hugs.
It'd be hard to kidnap a dragon.
Not what I meant, you know it.
Alright.
The necromancer did it.
Frankly, it's really hard to kidnap Leah, too.
After he's done hugging Leah, he's gonna turn to Lorelai and be like, "You get in here too."
She goes, "Oh no!" Like sounding like she wants to escape, but like that very like she clearly doesn't.
Just like, just wraps his arms around her, so he's like squishing her a little bit against his chest.
Which, absolutely probably would have been, but then, you remember that she's got the beefier body that Zentharamil gave her more recently. So you feel, like, actual, like, pressure back as she's able to get a good grip around, your, like, collarbone.
Oh, Lorelai.
Oh, you like that?
Doing pretty good with your hugs yourself.
I've been working on it just for you.
Oh. We'll have to hug some more later.
Oh. You know it.
Do you two need a room? Or...
We have one. It's upstairs.
That's creepy in the least.
I'm struggling to find the season to fit with Leah's emotions right now.
I imagine you're just swapping between them rapidly.
I think she's gonna, return to Leah, and over the bond, you're gonna hear her say, Leah, I don't know which of you is easier to fluster, your father or you?
No, she's just gonna hide her face. Which, doesn't help much if you learn what her hair color means, because we'll still be able to tell.
It's a Warbreaker problem all over again.
But yeah, I haven't none that I can, add to, embarrassment. I don't know where that will go.
Maybe, summer? I feel like it's either summer because it's a strong emotion, or, winter because it's, a not, a not joyful emotion.
Yeah, but winter says contemplation and dollar, so for me it feels like winter is more calmly emotions.
Can be. Dolor is sorrow, sadness, just kind of depression.
Yeah.
Which is why you see Nalia using it anytime she's given bad news.
Yeah.
When she really feels contemplative about something that is
yeah, and it kind of says a lot when Leah defaults to it.
The poor child.
Spring is cheerfulness and celebration, and autumn is peace and goodwill. So I think it would have to be summer. Yeah.
Yeah, summer's because summer's high emotion, both good and anger as well.
Yeah.
It's like joy and rage, and so I feel embarrassment is also a high emotion. So
yeah,
it seems to fit in there, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, peace and goodwill is wishing well on others, I guess.
Yeah, you feel good about what's going on. You feel you're wishing well on others. Is a good way to put it. I like that.
And cheerfulness and celebration is more outwards positivity.
Yeah. Yeah. She entered summer whenever she was really excited about something, or really excited about something in the bad way. It just kind of has that high energy, that excitement, good or bad. It's just you're energetic.
Basically, spring and summer is high energy, autumn and winter is low energy.
A little bit, yeah. More calm, more even keel, I think is the term I want to use. Alright. plan something with each other for a second while I go grab my food from the door. It will only take me a moment.
So how are we going to steal Tristan's food?
Bitch.
How's anyone? We need a plan.
I mean, we hire a raccoon.
You know, I might just know one.
Name Rocky.
I don't think so. Well, now we have our community answers. What's the goal for today? Or I guess the goal for pre-dragon fight.
Yes.
I don't know if Elsamith isn't going to meet with us before then I guess just keep making shit. Wonder how much more TNT I can make. And send Simdar to gather this shit instead.
Simdar's like, you want me to what? With poop?
You know exactly what I want you to do.
Yeah.
It is possible to make bombs out of manure, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the sulfur and the...
Yeah. It's the sulfur, the nitrates. Need to nitrogenate.
Yeah, gotta distill that shit.
It smells great. It really does.
My other
smell like a
senses are good, but smell, that's a bit burnt. I've gotten used to the smell of poison and shit.
Bendar's gone almost completely nose blind at this point.
Which is odd considering how high his perception is.
And here, I can hear a mouse walking through the wall 30 meters away, and I can see like an eagle, but I can't smell shit anymore.
Specifically shit.
Yep. It's actually not a bad thing.
Wait, does Vendor have magic earphones or something? Because you gotta imagine he's gotta be like a daredevil or a superhero, which he can't sleep because he hears everything.
Better invent some earplugs, buddy.
Just have Simdar stand there and hold my ears all night.
Wow.
That's just rude.
Somebody's been learning from the wizard. Alright, so, yep, you can definitely continue your experimentation, your crafting, and we can figure out what you've got at the end of that. This was always intended to be like a 2-week time skip and training montage, but there were some loose ends to tie up. The only further loose end that the party might be considering is that I believe several members of the party felt pretty well convinced that the verbiage used by the generals of the Army of the Four Queens indicated that they had been speaking to Coffers, but you never saw him or got him back. And I don't know if that matters to you.
I mean, any damage he could have done, I think he has.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I think it would just cause more problems if we tried to, like, suck him away with a gate.
I am flabbergasted that this has gone from one of the most vindictive parties I've ever run who will fucking attempt to murder in broad daylight a man for overcharging for arrows to one of the most reasonable parties of, like, this guy betrayed the shit out of us and tried to turn our army on him, but we mitigated the damage and we don't really need to go after him. It might only cause more problems.
Wait, is this during the time of Raiken killing priests with doors?
I mean, that did also happen.
Thunder's grown a lot.
I just... That had to be before my time. Or something I wasn't involved in.
It was before your time.
Okay.
Yeah, I needed more arrows because it was before I had so many arrows I didn't have to worry about it, and before the bag of holding. So I went to try to get my arrows, and he was charging me like 5 gold per arrow.
10.
10, yeah, shitload. A ridiculous amount. Like 10 gold is more than they see in a year. And it was like per arrow.
He was charging 100x.
I was not happy. At that time, I ran down that bandit that attacked us. No one lives.
Oh man. That guy is just trying to, he's like, alright, I'm out. I am so out. This wasn't worth it. And then you just chase him down. He's like, I just
for like 8 turns. It's like, you don't get away. This was the last mistake you'll ever make.
I think you literally shouted no survivors at him as you caught up with him.
I did, yeah.
It was a wild time 9 years ago.
You're lucky they didn't have typical video game levels.
Well, like when they're overpowered and you can't actually fight them?
Yep.
You can do that in D&D, but I gotta be honest, it's not very fun.
Well, it also, depending on how the DM wants to play the game, it could have repercussions.
Yeah, I mean, you've entered a couple fights that were just really not very winnable, but I always made sure you had warning, a lot of warning, and then I made sure to program in a couple outs. Like, the Beholder. You were not powerful enough to kill that Beholder.
When the DM asks you, like, 5 times in a row, like, with each action towards a thing, if you're really sure, once it gets to 5, then you're like, maybe they're onto something. Because if it's just 1, it's just like, fuck it, we ball. If it's 2, it's like, now you're just trying to scare me. If it's 5...
it's right out.
Maybe I should listen.
There might be a reason.
Subliminal messaging. Let me consult my magic 8-ball. Don't do it. What does a magic 8-ball know? Alright. So, with that, I do believe that your loose ends, your unfinished business, has been completed, and we can cross over to the final day.
Yeah, at some point during the train montage, I will put a clone in a, pocket dimension. Very fine.
Is it 2-week time jump?
Yeah.
Language lessons?
They're a good idea. Got a bunch of hours in the day that you can do stuff with it.
It's 3 hours per day, right?
That's about as much. I said that 3 hours was about as much as you could reasonably absorb in a single day.
Yeah.
But that you could teach as long as you were conscious.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Laramendus is happy to teach as much language as anyone wants him to, if it's one of the languages that he knows that
You know
he's
Draconic?
seeking. I do.
If I get 26 lessons, I will be fluent in Draconic.
Nice.
So over the course of 2 weeks, if I do 3 hours of lessons a day, I have 42 hours. 42 lessons.
Out of what?
I like the way you think.
Which leaves 16 lessons in other stuff, which can be spread out just to
Don't
even
study
things up a
other
bit.
stuff. I'm kidding, by the way. That was just a reference joke.
I think something you would find from Laramendus' Draconic, if he's teaching it to you, it is extremely academic. It's very understandable, but people might look at you like you're, 400
Very
years
formal.
old.
If Jebel ever talks to me in Draconic, I will correct him.
You sound like a plebeian. This is how it should be.
Fucking plebe.
You ever read the Vampire Chronicles novels?
No.
That's all like Interview with the Vampire and all that.
Oh. I watched a movie Interview with a Vampire.
Yeah. So Tom Cruise's character in that, Lestat, right? He's French.
Yep.
And there's one of the stories. He swaps bodies with this guy, and the guy he swaps bodies with tries to take over his life. And he gets a call from his bank, who's just going on like, "Yeah, we got a call from this guy claiming to be you." But the thing is, like, he speaks very modern French, and you speak very old French.
Busted.
Hey, Jebel, isn't Queen of the Damned part of that series?
It is. That's the third book in the series.
That's what I thought. Okay.
I remember when that movie came out, but I didn't see it.
2005,
On the list.
2006 or something like that.
Oh, good.
Because Aaliyah is in it. She was still alive.
Leah's in it.
Aaliyah.
Alright, so here's a summary, which I'll give again, of course, as we lead into the final day. You all are going to, having decided that your loose ends are as tied up as they need to be, that your unfinished business has been finished. You are going to return to the day-to-day, largely for the training montage as the Tritons continue to teach your soldiers as much as they can, as quickly as they can, and they're very efficient about it because there are so many of them that they are capable of doing individual one-on-one trainings with people to get things right. And I mean, they had 10,000 Tritons and you had like 3,000 people, so they can do better than one-on-one. They can do like one-on-3. To help get all of this training done, which frees you all up significantly to help or pursue your own desires and your own improvement over the next 2 weeks, which, as Jebel points out, an excellent use of that time is tapping each other for language lessons, especially Draconic, since you're probably going to be facing down creatures that, as you've seen previously, primarily use not just Draconic, but an archaic form of Draconic.
point for Laramendis.
I have 11 lessons in Draconic. How well can I understand it?
There is a chart that explains it, but like for every 5
DC-15.
lessons, you needed a lower number.
I have the chart here.
Yeah.
So 5 to 10 is a DC 20 intelligence or performance. 11 to 20 is a DC 15. 21 to 30 is a DC 10, and 31 plus is flirt.
So if you sit in on Jebel's Draconic lessons, then
You'll get
You can
fluency
flirt?
in what? 21
It
lessons
sounds
if
like
you're at 10?
19 lessons. That's a good idea.
Yeah, I want to get. Why is that not working? What's going on there?
This stuff is so good. So I apologize for talking while eating, but it's just like, oh, it's so good.
this is the curry, right?
Yeah, it's
Nice.
good curry. Like I said, it's almost like it's like nothing special. It's not golden curry. It's not done up big, but it's still really, really good.
Nice.
Anyway, so I as a DM strongly recommend doing something like this because this is an easy slam dunk way to improve your character. You can gain languages other than Draconic, and you just get to add them to your sheet. You're just good. If you can figure out, as Jebel has already calculated for you, 42 potential hours of lessons over the next 2 weeks. So divvy that up as you will. Determine your the languages you want. The only potential hang up here is that all the languages can only come from one person, and making sure that they have enough hours in their day to give all the lessons.
So you can do 3 lessons a day, was it?
You can learn 3 hours, or you can teach all the remaining hours.
I have each hour as a lesson.
Yes.
I'm surprised you don't give us a little bit of a handicap, though, or not a handicap, like a restriction, because just because you know a language doesn't mean you know how to teach a language.
I think the people teaching the languages are... Well, Laramendis is the teacher.
Yes, that's why I'm pointing it out. Like, me teaching might be far inferior to your teaching.
But you are fluent, and you can teach what you know. So, here's the thing. It's not a bad thing to point out. The game itself doesn't really have good rules for how to handle this. The game doesn't really intend for you to be able to gain new languages with any amount of ease, which is always odd since previous editions had extremely easy ways of gaining languages. So this just felt like a good middle ground to... It accomplishes a couple things. One, it makes it feel like you earn it, because you gotta spend some time to do it, and there's an in-between where you know enough that you can roll to get the gist, but you know little enough that stuff's probably gonna get past you. So it adds a little bit more, I don't know, I want to call it quality to that language, to the idea of improving your character. And 2, the second thing that I hope for is that it can be an excuse to the players to say, our characters are spending hours a day talking pretty much nonstop to each other, learning from one another. So this is a way to build bonds, build camaraderie, outside of direct roleplay. Direct roleplay I think is always the best, but it's another one of those ones where it's like, well, we did just spend the last, 6 hours together learning and making jokes in a language that we're trying to learn from one another. So, our characters are a little bit closer because of that. So, those were my 2 pillars of design when I made the decision about how this worked. And the third one is that it is a small enough number of things. 30 is significant, but it's only 30 hours, which that would never work in real life. But it makes it achievable, so you feel like you're progressing.
It's the same thing that, you get a long rest and you're fine. You're just I spent 8 hours and I can go about the day.
Yeah.
Long rests are
It would be
magic.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yesterday I was hanging by a thread. Now I'm perfectly fine.
Just a reminder to everyone, because I have it, and I don't think many people have it, is I do speak Terran.
Sure.
In case you want to speak rock.
I mean, not inaccurate to say.
Hey, if you're thirsty and you need to find water, you can ask a rock, hey, do you know where there's water?
And then everybody will think you're crazy.
But imagine how crazy they'll think you are when water appears.
It's when the rock
like rolls, and everyone thinks you just like breathed on it. And then like you keep walking, and then there's another rock that you trip over, and there's just a bunch of water.
The rock rolls, and a little geyser gushes up. Hey, look! I made an oasis. It took like what, 7 seconds? So, figure out what languages you want to learn. You know.
Anyone else having difficulty editing notes on D&D Beyond?
Uh-oh, I don't want to hear about
The
it.
languages I didn't have in notes, because if you click on...
Could be able to manually add
languages,
I know I can add them. I can add them under proficiencies, but it's keeping track of how many hours.
Oh, so I have... There's like a little note thing under the language. If you do that. So like I have Gnomish listed as a proficiency, but I have the note for, say, lessons 1. So when I hover over Gnomish, it just pops up with the source. That's what it is. If you, in the source note for the language, I said lessons and then just a number.
Oh yeah.
That way I didn't need to go through notes and things. I could just hover over the language and see.
That's pretty keen. I like that.
No, yeah, I have it done in there as well. I was just checking, realized that
if they
I
were
can't
the same.
edit anything. It's, I don't know why not. So let me see now.
But 30 lessons was to it?
Yeah.
31.
31.
Right.
16.
I suppose also at some point Vendor will want to contact Lynn and talk to her.
Yeah.
Let her know that, I died and now I'm a Dragonborn.
I think that you saw her in Bromdor.
Oh, did I?
I know that you went through it with your family.
No, he went through it with his brother when he got here. Because, we never were at the island after the kidnapping and explosion.
You're right.
Yeah.
Because it happened and then you were just here. Because that was getting rid of Tatcha. No, you're right. Okay. Yep.
Yeah, so I'll probably want to use Ash as a hollow communicator thing.
Alright. If, if she expresses interest in coming here, what are you going to say to that?
Come here, to fight?
To the island, maybe join the army to fight, yeah, potentially. What's his feeling about that?
I mean, I'd be happy to have her here. I'd be worried about her in the fight, but I can hold her on. So I'd be up for it, yeah.
You better hope he doesn't dislike lizards.
That would be unfortunate. I'd have to get reincarnated again.
Well, plenty of people with Wish, so I'm sure we can arrange it.
Just keep doing it until Tom finds something that she likes.
It's really into grungs. Who would have thought?
Grungs. The only reason to be a
The
grung.
best lovers I have ever had. Surprisingly. Wrong.
As long as it's not an Oscavarian.
I don't know what that is.
You didn't watch
Guardians of the
Guardians
Galaxy.
of the Galaxy?
Oh, okay. Yes, I did.
No, I was never with her. Do you ever see them? They got fangs for teeth, or whatever he said.
Goodness gracious. And, I think that Nullia is going to expect a communication now and then, but you know that she plans to be as far from that fight as she can be. Because someone has to survive.
Yeah.
And might as well be her, right?
I think the Claremont is probably, probably towards the end of the day, would just do check-in sendings, assuming that he has a spell slot of sufficient level or has, been able to take a short rest to have the free sending. I assume that he's not using enough resources that he wouldn't be able to send, but he is probably doing that.
Once a day, 14 days, a lot of days, and she has been very, accepting of the fact that you don't call her every day. She's not ever insisted that you do that.
But that doesn't mean she's not pissed.
I mean, I suppose it doesn't necessarily mean that, yeah.
Weird.
Hmm?
The image that Chapel posted.
Oh.
I don't know. It just doesn't let me edit any of that stuff.
Well, that's...
Check with another character.
I wonder if it has to do with her recent changes. Let's just get a hiccup.
I have... My notes... At least or maybe it's just because you're in dark mode. Because I'm not in dark mode.
I use Underdark mode on all my sheets.
I can edit everything perfectly fine. Oh, can I? No, I can't. I can go. Oh, yes, I can. Okay. It's weirdly delayed.
Mine is... I just went to Xander's sheet, and I'm able to add stuff to it. It wasn't delayed. I guess I'm just cool.
I can add stuff, but yeah, it's super dark like his.
Add things where?
I assume the
Into
notes,
the notes
tab? Yeah, next to background, but 4 extras.
I've never added a note.
Yeah, mine's not dark. All the writing on mine is normal, white on gray.
Yeah, mine.
Not gray on dark gray. Mine's white.
Yeah, now I've got the black on black.
Weird.
So mine,
Mine's not.
It always brings me to the bottom of the thing. I can click anywhere, I can try typing, and sometimes it will make the change, but it automatically brings the cursor to the very end, no matter what. Because I just tried to start writing the new teleportation circle for the island, because I have known teleportation circles thing, and I was like, oh, I didn't write it down. But
Yeah, mine's messed up too. It's like when I try to enter anything into the box, it doesn't show up. But then when I click out of it, it saves and it puts one letter that I wrote.
Yeah, and I put mine down right at the end.
Ooh. It's doing it for Rolden now.
Oh well. Oh, I know. Right, so
I got it to do 2 letters. That's... Oh, and I have to delete, all the other letters are there. Yep.
Oh no. That's not good. So now I use up any residual that I have to write it down somewhere else if I can't change it on my sheet.
I wonder how they fragged that. That's...
yeah, no, the other possessions thing is the same.
That's wild. Let me take a look at something. I want to see if maybe you just, have to, if I turn off expanded rules, is that the new stuff? I have Legacy turned on already. If I just wiggle the checks, I'm going to get rid of expanded rules real quick.
This is just making me think of the goddamn TikTok for the Legends of Adventurous, like D&D Beyond, where you can be even more just as confused as if you were just doing pencil and paper.
Yeah, it is so weird that they have just decided to completely T-bone the whole thing. Yeah, no, that didn't fix it. Okay, cool.
I tried it on two browsers as well, just to see if it would make a difference, and it didn't.
What if I turn off Legacy? Let's see if this is just their stupid push. Fuck everything. Anyway, no, it's still dumb.
Why, where is Legacy?
You have to go back to page 1 where you enter your character's name.
Ah.
That's so weird. I enter 4 letters and it makes me delete 11 to get rid of the 4, which only showed up as 1. That's fun.
Sometimes.
Nope. Yeah, I don't,
Good job, Beyond.
Yeah, but it's like they are trying to give us all, the go-ahead to just be like, bye. It's so sad. It was such a good resource until Wizards bought it. This is me officially saying on the internet, recorded for posterity, fuck you, Wizards of the Coast. Fuck you, Hasbro.
That's what I was gonna say.
I was gonna say, warn the Hasbro team.
Hey.
Well, see what they did for frickin' Secret Lair and some of the other things they did for Magic. Just like, you're going overboard, guys. Come on.
Yeah, that they just cancelled the G5 over My Little Pony as well, so.
Wizards or Hasbro did that? Oh.
Hasbro, yeah.
Because it's their toy product, isn't it?
Yep. But they haven't been making many good decisions with G5 in the first place, but still.
Wow, amazing. Amazing.
They are just murder all the fun things.
They do, yeah.
Business people ruin everything.
Does Amaranta speak? Well, he speaks Elvish, obviously.
Yes.
Does he speak Dwarvish?
He does.
Like in split
Oh yeah,
and...
they would like to increase their knowledge on Elvish during that time.
I would like to learn Sylvan.
I know Sylvan.
Yeah, learn Sylvan in 2 weeks. Good luck.
I can't. I already have 10 lessons. So I just need to devote 2/3 of my time to it.
21 more lessons.
Okay, so the lesson time isn't different based on what language.
Right.
Right. It was
Yeah,
any language is 31 lessons equals fluency.
You could go from not knowing any rock to knowing all rock.
Some languages are near impossible for mortal beings to speak in.
I have no idea how Yukikaze can speak rock. It's just like
it's a very grounded language, okay?
Impressive that you can do that with your voice.
Well, you gotta think, I lived in a fucking desert. I wasn't gonna fucking talk to plants, was I?
Man, yeah, it's just very down to earth.
I thought it was partially thematic, right? I live in a fucking desert.
Okay. That was Amber Alert. Missing person. Apparently they now beep for a very long time and vibrate for a very long time and then read off the Amber Alert to you to make sure you know.
Oh, mine did not beep.
I think it's because it was in Newton, and so I'm in the next town over.
Yeah.
You have missing person alerts?
Yes.
Yes.
Particularly for children.
Yeah, any number of people might have seen them, or now you're on the lookout for them. It's just, it's like crowdsourcing finding people, and it has worked, so.
Oh yeah, it's smart. I support it. Just never heard of it. It's not a thing that we have. Then again, I know people go missing in Norway about as often as Yes. I don't have any good comparison. It happens rarely. You would think it would happen often considering our wildlife, but yeah.
People go missing all the time in the US.
Yeah, I know. But the US is also, vast.
Yeah, it is very large.
Yeah, and especially like in the northwest forest areas.
And there are a lot of huge forests that people get lost all the time. But
Yeah.
people go missing more often than anywhere else in national forests and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, you can go missing in small places. What was that fella, the English guy, who went missing in like Tenerife or
Okay,
something?
I got it. Thank you.
Sylvan is what? Again?
Sylvan is the fairy
tree.
language.
The fairy language.
Fairy, okay.
But no, you're right, Elisa. It is tree. It is speaking tree. It is a counterpart. It's a sub language or a derivative language of primordial, and it's an element. It's the elemental language of trees, just like Terran is the elemental language of stone. Aran is air. Aquan for water, and Ignin for fire.
Ignin.
Sitting here going, I know them all.
Fluid
Is
fire.
Sylvan?
Actually, Tristan, I have a request. Since we're dealing with the fish people, or the merfolk,
Yep.
I want to request from Clever Gill if I can have lessons from a soldier that has the time to teach me Aquan.
I like that. Roll me a diplomacy. Persuasion. Excuse me.
I'm gonna use my. Did I use them? I don't know if I used them last time.
Use your what?
I'm gonna be using my cat's eye stone dice.
Oh yeah. Ooh, I got a party. That 20 party.
How did this get so dirty?
Aurora Sky just had a party.
Alright, diplomacy. Or no, you said persuasion. What'd you say?
Yeah, persuasion, because persuasion is diplomacy.
Okay. That was, I think, my proficiency. So. Okay. Sorry, the 18 and 16, or the 19 and 16, I think look the same. Let me make sure. Find the 16. Yeah, it wasn't that, it was this. So that would be 27.
Alright. Clever Gill, is going to receive you as you make your request, and he's going to assume his normal, very self-important posture, as he hears out your request, especially translated.
I'm also going to say it in the senses for communication with all troops. I feel it would be very important to have this skill or some capability.
Okay.
They make it easier to communicate with Clever Gill.
That too.
So, I was saying, he receives you with his usual self-important air. Your request is translated to him by Bass, as most things are. And you're going to see that he, looks to Bass as he's translating into Aquan for him, and he's going to return his gaze to you, and you're going to see as he studies you, and really seems to kind of scrutinize you as though he's trying to, look into your soul kind of thing. And he's gonna have this very, like, hard look about him, like, somebody looking at somebody beneath them, somebody not worth their time. And you begin to feel like even this is harsher than he's usually treated you. Like, you had a pretty, like, good relationship, especially after dealing with the Army of the Four Queens. So it seems surprising that he would look at you this way. You seem to be casting this harsh judgment upon you. And you're going to see, like, his face kind of cracks, this stern, rock-solid, glare almost that he's giving you is going to split, and he's going to soften very quickly, and he's going to begin speaking in Aquan at you, and, Bass is going to translate, saying, "It pleases my commander greatly that you have interest in using his native tongue, that you might improve communication, and we take this as a sign of respect." And after this translation, Clevergill is going to switch to Common and say, "You honor myself. Prove your truth as ally. I will train you."
Thank you for the honor.
We allies as equal.
I'll just kind of give a nod. I don't think there's really anything I could say to that.
He's,
Or, yeah, I'm more of kind of like I'll do like a proud nod, like, yeah.
And he will, as he has before, kind of tentatively extend his webbed hand to you in that way that he understands service dwellers use, but it is not a familiar gesture to him, like it's one that he is not accustomed to using.
Alright, and I will shake his hand.
And you'll even see at that, there was a bit of consternation on his face as he extended it and waited to see if you would respond, and there's, like, very clear relief as you take his hand and grip it and shake it. You can tell that he was hopeful that this was the correct gesture to make.
I'll definitely have my poise, and the way I look is like it be like, yeah, pleased. I think that's the best way to put it.
Very good.
So that will be one of my things over the 2 weeks.
Yes.
Oh, and when I talk
we
to
have?
what?
Oh no, you go ahead. I'll go after.
When I talk to Lynn, if she does express an interest in coming here, then I will make sure to get one of the casters to help me teleport her here.
Alright. Yeah. That works. Probably...
My question...
Oh, go ahead.
No, sorry, no. My question was just about, like... I forgot what the relationship was between Primordial as a language and the root languages. The sub-languages.
So, Primordial is the root language, but... the way that I have it working, just because I'm staying true to how I had it working at the beginning of the game, even though further thought on it, it made me realize this is kind of the opposite of how it really works in real life. Derivative people who speak a derivative language are usually more able to understand the root language than the reverse being true. But in this case, somebody speaking Primordial is capable of understanding reasonably well anybody speaking any of the derived languages, while somebody speaking with a derived language like Ignan or Orin is kind of locked into that. Like, they might be able to get bits and pieces of Primordial, but, like, it's still, they're kind of like, they've become largely their own thing. And this, I know that this isn't how it works in real life, but it is how I presented it toward the beginning of the game, so I'm just trying to stick to it. It works well enough as a hand-wavy explanation.
Yukikaze's collecting them all. I speak rock and now water. All I need is fire, air, and tree.
Can get tree. So, does that answer your question? Okay.
As long as I can become an avatar.
Master of all 5 elements. Imagine a tree bender.
Really, that's just
wind.
sufficient water mixed with fire.
Alright, since it is 10:30, I'm gonna say we'll call it here. I know we got started a little late, but it couldn't be helped. Take the time between this session and the next to kind of get your plan of action, like what hours. You remember you have 42 hours that if you want to spend 3 hours every day, which is not a large contribution of your daily activities, you'll still very much be able to do other things. 3 hours to language study a day gives you 42 lessons, and 31 is what's required for fluency. So get that, at least for your own character, laid out. Have discussions to, determine, what in-jokes you now have with your teacher of the language. Like, you have beautiful hair. And we will go back over this again at the beginning of the next one, of course. And we can flesh that out a bit more, just because I know that the final day is going to be a multi-session thing. So I'm not afraid to spend a little bit of time, finishing the shopping list, as it were. But, alright, with that, thank you guys all for being here, and I hope that I'll be able to see you sooner rather than later, though I know that schedules have been a bit tough lately, so I'm gonna hope for as soon as possible. That, we'll see you next time on Everybody Loves Raiken. Bye, stream.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.